We have chains. They're invisible, but we have chains. We know if we drive, we risk every moment. I feel like it's an invisible jail. That's how I feel.
For Minor and the many undocumented immigrants that live in Gainesville, Georgia, just leaving home can be a risk. With no driver's license and scared to come into contact with the county sheriff, they try to keep a low profile on the streets. The undocumented immigrants that appear in this video all requested to remain anonymous. They spoke to the Post on the condition that we not use their real names.
Line busy, line busy.
The workday's first challenge is to find a ride. In Gainesville, workers flock to the town's many poultry factories.
Fine.
It's a risky line of work. One of the town's main plants suffered 2 chemical leaks this year. The first killed 6 people.
We never know what's gonna happen. It could happen to anybody. An accident or somebody doing the wrong job.
The sheriff's office in Hall County, Georgia, is part of a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement program called 287G. The program, which is voluntary for local jurisdictions, empowers local law enforcement to act as federal agents and question, report, and detain undocumented immigrants. More than 140 state and local law enforcement agencies participate in 287G. ICE hails the program as an essential partnership to capture and remove violent criminals. But the program has drawn the ire of many immigrant offenders who believe that it not only encourages discriminatory policing, but also results in a higher arrest rates of lower-level offenders, including those stopped for traffic violations. A post-analysis of FBI data found that in Hall County alone, arrest rates for low-level offenses more than doubled from 2017 to 2019. The data does not distinguish whether those arrested were undocumented immigrants.
287G program in recent years, particularly in the Trump era, was used as a tool to terrorize immigrant communities, to make people fearful of simply of doing day-to-day things like going to work, just driving, things that we all take for granted on a daily basis. If you're a non-citizen and you've heard that your local law enforcement jurisdiction is working with ICE, it just makes sense that you would be less likely to call the police if and when you need them, and that's something that harms all of us.
In a written statement to the Washington Post, the Hall County Sheriff's Department maintained that their collaboration with federal authorities is free of racial profiling, calling 287G, quote, a useful method to help keep our community safe, unquote. But for workers like Minor, the reality is far more grim.
It's just scary about the sheriff. I've seen people at work pray when they get on the car. There's this guy that works at my place. He's in his 60s, almost to get retired. He's nice to everybody. Sometimes I'm still waiting outside on the bench for my cab. And I see him because I can see his truck. He's praying on the wheel because he knows he doesn't have his license.
Martha, an undocumented factory worker, has lived in Hall County for 15 years.
Entonces es un miedo terrible el que siente uno al salir a la calle. Hace 2 años me paró y fue muy triste y muy doloroso. Me pidieron mi licencia. Yo les dije que no tenía. Y sí, entonces pues me dijeron que me iban a llevar. Y pues yo no les contesté, nada más me les moví la cabeza, me sentía triste, se me vinieron miles de pensamientos a mi cabeza. Solamente me quedó pedirle a Dios que me diera fuerzas para soportar o para soportar lo que venía, lo que me iba a pasar. Me llevaron, estuve 3 días ahí. Era lo que yo pensaba, me van a reportar. Pude salir gracias a que mis hijos son nacidos aquí y a que nunca me habían parado ni nunca me habían arrestado, tenía buen récord. Entonces eso me contó bastante.
It's pretty tough to be a Hispanic people in Gainesville. It's really tough.
Paco is a documented immigrant from Mexico and a father of 8 American children. As a taxi driver, he serves his community by getting them safely to work and to their homes.
I'm gonna take it to this place, look, and it's not right for people to live in these conditions like this right here. Most of the people, they just want an opportunity to work. Like this chicken plant right here, they work 7 days sometimes in the pandemic. And that's all Hispanic people working in there. When COVID hit, they're still coming in. All these factories, there's a lot of people we drop off and we pick up people. I see how people, how single mothers or mothers with family, they go and they pay the taxi $20, $30 just to go to work.
The dangers for Gainesville's undocumented stretch far beyond the streets. In January, an accident at one of the city's main poultry plants sent a shockwave of fear through the community.
Pues es feo, hasta pasar por ahí, por la calle, de donde está la planta. Y pues pasa uno ahí y ves la planta y las crucitas de ellos con flores y luego ahí está el panteón. Y volteas a ver y pues ahí están ellos.
Gloria, an undocumented worker, was at the plant when the leak happened. She, along with the other survivors, was too afraid to seek medical help or assist in the investigation because of the reputation of law enforcement in the county.
La fuga del nitrógeno fue el día 28 de enero del 2021. Pues de ese día fue triste, espantoso. Todos lloraban, otros se desmayaban y no sabíamos qué estaba pasando. Sí, nomás decían que ya se murió, que está congelado. Empezamos a salir todos para afuera y luego llegó mucha policía, bomberos, estábamos rodeados ahí, todo feo, sí. Ya nomás veo a unos policías y le da uno miedo. Ya supimos por las noticias que ahí decía que era lo que se tiró.
The deadly liquid nitrogen leak at a food plant in Gainesville.
6 people were killed, and some of those victims were among the more than 40% of Hispanics that make up that community.
Dozens of victims left the scene Thursday without receiving medical care due to fears of being deported.
There's a good people. There's a really hardworking people. We had to come over here not because we want to come over here. We come over here because we got a need to eat, to have a better life.
Si usted pudiera manejar a donde usted quisiera, ¿cómo sería su vida?
Mi vida sería diferente, me pudiera mover a donde yo quisiera, pudiera ir a Florida, Chicago, a donde quisiera, pero lamentablemente no se puede. Tenemos que estar aquí.